Hello and welcome to the Also Ravishing podcast. I hope everyone is having a blessed Friday. I know I am. So, y'all, I read this article. Y'all know I love to read. So, actually, I read a couple of different articles about this topic, and the article stated that Gen Zs are not good at interviewing and that it's at a slowdown in hiring by many companies. So they had a list of things in the article that Gen Zs are doing when it comes to applying for a job, the interviewing for the job, or even getting a job. It was so much of stuff in here that the Gen Zs were not doing right. It was just it's a lot. It was just so much for me to list. I list a couple of things, but I couldn't list everything because, like I said, it was a lot. So one of the things was 1 in 4 Gen Zs have brought a parent to a job interview. Another one stated Gen Zs have their parents completing and submitting their job applications. 13% of Gen Zs admitted of having their parents complete their human resources training. About 70% of Gen Zs needed their parents' assistance doing their job research. About 70% of Gen Zs had their parents do their resumes. Also, the article stated that Gen Zs had their parents reaching out directly to advocate for bigger raises for their children. So, yeah, it goes on and on and on and on. So, today I thought it was only right that I talk about how to prepare for interviews, the do's and don'ts, etc. of getting a job. And this information, y'all, is not just for Gen Zs; it's for everybody, anybody. So, y'all, so being in management, I have done a lot of interviews. I have been involved in a lot of the hiring and firing process. So, there's things that you're gonna know. So, first, I want to say there's nothing wrong with having your parent or parents or guardian or anyone who's more knowledge helping you fill out a job application or helping you with a resume or even helping you engage in mock interviews. Nothing is wrong with that. When I read the article, it was also good to know and hear that parents wanted to help their children in a job search. Nothing is wrong with that. I have kids too, and I know I'm going to help my kids with their job search, with anything. I just believe that to me, that's just being a great parent. You know, a lot of children right now, they're graduating high school or college and they're just getting out to the work world. They're new to this. They don't really know what's going on. This is something new to them. They never did it before. So us as parents or guardians or whoever's being be when a child comes to us, we're experienced when it comes to this. We know how to write and prepare resumes. We know how to do interviews. We know how to answer them because we have done it before. We know the do's and don'ts. So I'm going to help my children. But at the same time, as parents, I know we have to realize that we need to let our kids fly on their own. So with that being said, I'm gonna just give a couple do's and don'ts and try to help out as much as I can. And like I said, this is not just for Gen Zs. This is for anyone who's out there that wants to apply for a new job or a new position or just wants to enhance their resume. So let's get into it. So it's not going to be in order. I'm just going to give certain questions that they ask in an interview and just give you, what to say, how to answer the questions. So for someone who's listening to my podcast right now and you're in the market, you're looking for a new job, or you have an interview that's coming up, if you want to pause it and go get a pen and paper to take some notes, do that. So, or even if you want to spruce up your resume, pause. Okay, so one question that they normally ask in the job interview will be, tell me about yourself. Normally, when we ask this question, it could be a little tricky because these Gen Zs, you know, they might think that we want to know that they know how to apply makeup very, very well. That y'all do. Or, you know, they got like 3,000 pair of tennis shoes. Or they like to sleep till 11 o'clock. Like they really telling you about them. No, boo. That's not the question. Like, you don't want to know that. So, let me tell you how to answer. So, you can answer that question by saying, I'm a great communicator. Like, I'm going to just use sales, for example. Like, if you worked in sales before, you can say, working in sales for 2 years helped me build confidence and taught me the importance of customer loyalty. You can say I'm punctual, dependable, can be counted upon to finish what I started. I understand the customer needs. I consider myself hardworking, reliable, dependable, helpful, outgoing, honest. That's just a couple of things that can help you with that, with that question. You can word it however you want to word it. It just depends on you. I use sales, for example, for that question. Okay, moving along. Another question will be, why did you leave your previous job? That question can be tricky too. All the questions can really be tricky. Here's how you can answer this question. Why did you leave your previous job? You can say, I learned a lot from my current role, but now I'm looking for a new challenge to broaden my horizons and to gain a new skill set of which I see potential for in this job. You can also say, I'm looking forward to a better opportunity to grow in a new job wise or financial wise. I want to learn new things. I want to learn more things. You can also say, I'm looking for a job where I can grow with the company, or I'm looking for a job that suits my qualifications. Or if you was laid off, you can say, I was laid off because the company relocated, downsized, or they needed to cut costs. That's the most professional things to say, if you got laid off from a job. Moving along. What are your strengths? You can answer this by saying, I believe my strength traits are my attention to detail. You can say, I've always been a great team player. I'm good at keeping a team together and producing quality work in a team environment. You can also say, for example, I work for 3 different management styles and expectations of me. I'm able to adjust my approach to meet each of their needs. Moving on to the next question that comes behind that one will be, what are your weaknesses? You can answer that by saying, I've never been very comfortable with public speaking. You can say I had troubles in the past with planning. Now I'm taking steps to correct this by starting to use a pocket planner. You can also say I might need to learn to be more flexible when things are not going according to plan. There is something I'm working on at the moment. When you tell a weakness, follow it up with something that you're doing to help fix that weakness. Don't just say, my weak, like you tell them a weakness and leave it there. Like, don't just say, I'm not comfortable speaking public. And that's it. You can follow it up. You can say, I'm not comfortable speaking publicly, but now I realize the problem and I have enrolled in speech workshops to help me with that weakness. All right, moving along. This is one of the questions that they ask. Tell me a difficult situation that you have encountered. When asked this question, you can answer it by saying, like, for example, I have faced numerous and difficult situations, but one that comes to mind, and then you tell them the difficult situation that you have encountered. After you tell them the difficult situation, you can then say, you can let them know that you was able to deal with it and that you assess the situation, you determined the possibility of different approaches, and you decided on the most effective one. You can also say, like me, I'm a perfectionist and I may be too hard on myself and on my coworkers at times. That's just me. I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be done right. I want everything to be done correctly, and I want it right the first time. I know it always can't be like that, but that's just me. That's my difficult situation where I think and I want everyone to be like me, but it's not always like that. Another question, what do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years from now? You can answer that by saying, although it's hard to predict the future, because it is, I'm just going to use a financial counselor for this one. I will become a very good financial counselor or whatever career that you're seeking. You can say, I believe that my abilities will allow me to excel in whatever position that you're doing or going to interview for. You can say in 5 years, I want to see myself as a valued employee of whatever company. I want to be an expert at my position and train to be a manager. Or you can say my goal is to become a lead in 5 years. Although not everyone gets promoted to this level, I believe I can achieve this goal through hard work. I want to see myself going to classes to get higher certifications, whatever it may be. Another question they ask, why should we hire you? You can say I'm a fast learner. I had to learn a total new operation system in my last job. I was up and running in a couple of weeks. You can also say you are someone who can perform a wide range of administrative duties. You have a track record of carrying out difficult tasks successfully. Or you can also say, I have the right combination of skills and experience for the job. I also bring the additional quality of strong problem solving. So these are just some ways that you can answer some of the questions that's being asked in the interview. You will put your words in to fit your past experience or your past jobs or whatever jobs that you're applying for. But I just wanted to give you a couple of examples on how the questions are supposed to be answered. So when you're putting your wording together for these questions, you know exactly what you're talking about. You know exactly how to answer them. So moving along. So here are some do's and don'ts when you interview. When you're interviewing for a company, don't matter what company it is, always do research on the company. Always. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask you, tell us something about the company. What do you know about the company? They're going to ask you something about the company. So do your research. A lot of people don't do the research, and when the question is asked, they're sitting up there looking like a deer in headlights because they can't tell you nothing about the company. They don't know anything about the company. They apply for this company, don't know nothing about it. I guess they just saw a job that the company was hiring for. They applied for it and didn't do research on the company. So do your research on the company that you going interview for. Another big mistake is arriving late or too early. Don't arrive late for your interview. Don't do it. Don't arrive late to your interview and dress professionally. I don't care what company it is. Dress professionally. Another thing, please don't talk negative about your past employees or the past company you used to work for. That's a big mistake that I see when I'm interviewing, is that someone will come up in there and talk negative about past employees or even the company that they work for. Don't do that. Another thing, ask questions at the end. Please ask questions at the end of the interview. We ask that question for a reason. That question is asked for a reason. Do you have any questions? Don't say no. Yes, you do. You are there. You are being interviewed, but you also are interviewing the company. You also want to know Where do the company see itself in 3 to 5 years? You want to know, is there room for growth? Do they offer certification classes? Like, ask questions. So we're going to move along to the resume because the resume comes first. Like, before you even get in the door, your resume is seen first. If you don't have a good resume, you're not getting in the door. So let's move on to the resume part because that's what gets you for interview, boo. So, like I stated, your resume is the first thing that the company sees before they actually see you. So your resume should speak volumes. Your resume should draw attention for someone to say, okay, I want to bring this person in for an interview. So your resume should be everything. It doesn't have to be 3 to 5 to 10 pages long. It could be 1 page, straight to the point. 1 page. That's all you need. I don't have to flip through pages. Half of the time, jobs now they use recruiters. And recruiters are not flipping through pages. They're glancing, couple of seconds, putting it to the side, and going to the next. 1 page, straight to the point. So for your resume, they have different formats. You can find resume formats, templates on Google. Google have resume templates. They're all on the internet. It's already set out for you. The template is already there. You just have to put your information in it. So we're just gonna go through some of the things that you put on your resume. At the top of your resume, you always put your first and last name. You put your city, your state, your zip code, your telephone number, and your email address. Make sure your email and your phone number, your name, make sure everything is spelled correct. So depending on the resume template you use, because every format is different. Certain templates, the format is different. Like education might be at the top on one template. On another template, it might be at the bottom. It just depends on your template. So I'm not going to go in order. So when it comes to resumes, I do prepare resumes for people. My favorite resume when I'm preparing resumes, I like to use Harvard College resume. That's one of my favorite templates. But it also depends on what the client is asking for. They might have something that it might be a special way that they want their resume. So it just depends on the client. If I get someone who says, just do it. However, I always use Harvard College resumes, and that format gets you in the door for interview all the time. So like I said, it's no order. So the summary part, that's optional. I would say put a summary. Some people don't put a summary, but it's up to you. If you want to do a summary, your summary paragraph should highlight your accomplishments, your experience, your target job, role, your skills. All that should be included, and it should be included in bullets. Experience. Get to the experience part. You will list your company. You will list your jobs, and you will list the company name and position title. You will put the city and state or remote. You put your start month and year and your end month and year. If you're still at that particular job, you will put your start month and year, and then you will put present because you're still there. You're going to always begin with your most recent position. And you're going to describe your experience and your skills, and that should be done in bullet also. For education, you're going to put your high school, your university, the degree that you got, the city and state. your graduation date, and the GPA is optional. Some people put their GPA, you don't have to, it's optional. For the skills and certifications part, this part will be put in bullet form also. You will put your skills, all the certifications that you have. Don't overdo it. It just can be a couple, maybe like 5 or 6. If you have any certifications you want to put, you will put the certifications that you got, and you will put the date that you got the certification. And if your certification, like me, I have CPR, first aid, or whatever, it's like a time, like it's like for like so many years. So you can put like you got it in 2024 and it's good to like 2027. You can put that. So for professional organizations, if you have any, you will list your professional organization, you will list the role, you will list the city and state, the month and the year. So y'all, this was just some examples of do's, don'ts, and how to answer questions for interviews and some tips on your resumes. You can find a lot of this information on the internet. It's online. All you gotta do is Google. It's there. Like I said, the resume templates now, they have it so easy now where you can just go to a resume. They have the template already there. You just input your information. You just have to know how to word it. So I hope this information was helpful. So until next time, I hope everyone has a great, peaceful weekend. And remember, love, live, and enjoy life.